Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. Key health infrastructure has been given the green light, funded through next week's budget. The new LGH helipad will proceed, but there are question marks over another major project, the Macquarie Point Stadium.
A much-awaited arrival before the budget lands next week.
We're here to announce the $15 million construction of the new helipad for the Launceston General Hospital. It'll be placed on top of the Cleveland Street car park.
Since the old LGH helipad was deemed unusable, airlifted patients have been transported 15 minutes by road.
And they'll be able to travel directly into the hospital where they can receive care in the emergency department.
Next week's state budget is an investment in health services in Tasmania.
The annual budget sell has begun, but no matter how much health gets, stadium funding will be in the spotlight. The Greens are certain a plan to pull it from the budget is sound.
We've sought advice from the clerk and we have preliminary advice in writing.
I don't believe you can really amend it. It's a constitutional practice of the Parliament.
Both the Greens and Labor continue to oppose stadium funding, arguing it would be brave for the AFL to tear up any licence, even if there's no stadium.
Well, I think what Tasmanians are telling the Premier very clearly is they want a different deal with the AFL.
Under Labor, there will be no new AFL or AFLW team, effectively destroying the dreams of many young Tasmanians.
It is something that comes together. You can't have one without the other. This is a Tasmanian political issue that's playing out.
Despite losing 2 members last week, the Premier says he's sure the entire team is on board with the stadium, something others are happy to question.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are others within Jeremy Rockliff's party room who are getting a lot of feedback from their constituents.
And if the rumours are true and there's a third Liberal MP that either quits or defects, then this Liberal minority government is in terminal decline.
The skipper's job now, keeping the team together. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
A rise in youth crime in the state's south has prompted Tasmanian police to enlist a dedicated commander to tackle the growing problem. Repeat offenders are causing particular concern and continue to pose a serious challenge for authorities.
Deployed daily to deal with brazen offending, this dedicated task force is cracking down on a youth crime wave.
The continual offending by youths is a particular issue to us at the moment. Incidents of all sorts of behaviour, antisocial behaviour, assaults, it's all unacceptable.
Commander Jason Elmer is now leading a team of 11 inspectors to help address the concerning increase among the young cohort.
Predominantly probably the 12 to 15 year age group is where we're seeing some significant issues.
Concerns lie with a rising recidivism rate for teenagers in southern Tasmania, with the offences taking up a large portion of police resources.
And we want to try and prevent that from increasing any further. So we are interdicting as much as we possibly can with these youth.
For the Commissioner of Children and Young People, investing in prevention programs is key to helping the systemic problem. Her suggestions have been put forward to the government.
Police have no programs to refer children and young people to. Our child protection and welfare systems are really struggling to be able to provide the services that families need.
Community safety is at the forefront of the plan, with several businesses in Hobart's CBD becoming the target of attacks in recent months.
Safer communities are created when we have systems and programs in place that support families to thrive.
A department spokesperson says the need for drug and alcohol programs for young people aligns with the intent of the draft Youth Justice Blueprint. Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Despite a reduction in our elective surgery wait list, a woman at high risk of breast cancer who's been left waiting for preventative surgery says she feels let down by the state's health system. Beck Fox carries the BRCA1 gene and has a family history of the disease. She was told she'd only have to wait 2 years for a mastectomy and breast reconstruction surgery. It's now been 5.
We can watch and wait. Or we can have our preventative mastectomy. It is like a time bomb and I am scared.
Tasmanians who have been identified for surgery to prevent them from getting cancer to help save their life are waiting unacceptably long times.
A Department of Health spokesperson says the circumstances of Ms Fox's situation are being looked into. The investigation into missing teen Cheyenne Lee Tatnall is continuing, with forensic testing finding items located in the North Esk River are not related to her disappearance. The 14-year-old hasn't been seen or heard from in more than 2 weeks. She was last seen wearing bike shorts and a cream hoodie with dark writing across the chest and shoulder. Anyone who might know anything is being urged to come forward. Launceston's acting mayor has announced he will run for the position left vacant by Danny Gibson. Councillor Matthew Garwood says he's ready to step into the role if he is elected.
I feel like it is that transition to go forward from deputy into the mayoral shoes.
Councillor Gibson resigned as mayor over questions about his working with vulnerable people registration. A successful tourism program has returned to Tasmania, serving up workshops, site visits and industry experts. It's hoped the course in Launceston will encourage the sector's next generation of leaders as the industry grapples with a skills shortage.
Learning the secrets to success from some of the state's best. The third iLead program bringing together 27 up-and-comers from Tasmania's tourism and hospitality sectors.
We've got small business owners, we've got people in operations and management in larger tourism operators, right through to people at the front end on the service desks.
Hoping to find and foster the next generation of Tasmanian tourism talent.
Well, it's about sustainability into the future, you know. Emerging leaders soon become business leaders and they pass the baton on to the next generations.
Polishing up their skills in a booming business environment.
What I've learned is there's such a willingness within the tourism and hospitality sector to get in and collaborate.
Participants work together to find solutions for industry-wide issues like skills shortages.
Retention of staff is critical for the hospitality industry and supporting emerging leaders in their journey is critical to helping that go forward.
The intensive program gives participants a deep dive into what keeps customers coming back.
As Tasmania continues to adapt and respond to changing conditions, it's more important than ever that we have leaders in all our sectors.
Finding our next crop of hospitality heroes. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
A Tasmanian home of soccer and 2 regional hubs could power the future of the World Game here in the state. Football Tasmania today released its facilities strategy with a focus on renewal of existing ones and catering for future demand.
The initial analysis says to us that we're already around 40 full-size pitches short, and that is impacting on our clubs and associations weekly in terms of training and matches.
It's the largest participation sport in Tasmania with around 38,000 players. The RACT is revving up its work for National Road Safety Week, reminding parents about the dire consequences of unsecured and out-of-date child restraints. Experts also demonstrating the correct disposal of car seats after receiving nearly 90 they deemed unroadworthy.
Primarily the seats that we've received are well beyond the 10-year life expectancy. There's some that we've found that are well over 20 years, which is amazing, and we're so happy to have them off the road.
As children get older as well, they like to put up a bit of a fight about still being in a car restraint. It is really important that you don't generally go by their age, you go by their height.
The RACT says a properly fitted car seat provides up to 70% extra protection for our smallest passengers. 6 Tasmanians have made it through to the 2023 Hadleys Art Prize finals. The local creators will now join 24 others in the running for a major cash prize, but they say it's a triumph just to be considered.
It's a celebration of Australian landscape. The Hadleys Art Prize back for a 6th year. 570 entries received from around the country.
It's such an incredible opportunity for artists, especially young emerging artists, to be shown alongside some of Australia's leading artists. We have a lot of women artists this year and also a lot of beautiful Aboriginal artworks.
A trio of esteemed judges determining which 30 would make the final cut.
It's really important that they view every artwork and also take into account the artist's statement or story and the technical skills.
My painting's called The Moon and Lady Franklin, and it's about Lady Franklin's Greek revival temple in Lena Valley. which was built in the early colonial times.
Meg Walsh describing her own portrayal of the environment as playful and provocative, having based it on an Australian mystery.
I uncovered a newspaper article about the Valentish disappearance, about this 20-year-old young man aviator that got lost in his aeroplane, and he thought he saw a UFO.
The finalists will have to wait 2 more months until the entry ranked #1 is announced, but it will be well worth the anticipation, with $100,000 awarded to the winner. However, the public won't have to be as patient, with the artworks on display and on sale at the Hadleys Orient Hotel from July 22 to August 20. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
UTAS has marked another milestone in its Inveresk campus transformation, unveiling the precinct's new professional services wing. The $11 million stone building will house 150 of the university's human resources, marketing and other support workers.
Edward Giles Stone established this building 100 years ago, and now we're looking to the next 100 years here at the University of Tasmania in Launceston.
Already people are coming to this campus and finding a welcoming place for our whole community.
The Rivers Edge building, which will accommodate humanities and social sciences students, is expected to be finished next month.
A novel NTFA round is returning for another year. All 6 of the league's women's teams will be playing on the same day in Georgetown this weekend. It's the second time the Gala Day has been held after good feedback from last year.
Often we play at the same time at different grounds, so we often don't get to see each other. So to be able to actually watch other games, support other teams and get to know each other better other than just on the field is a really good opportunity.
And for such an important cause as well, that is for women. I think that is just awesome to go to show that we're all being recognised as players.
The goal is to raise more than $5,000 for charity Share the Dignity, which helps the homeless and those fleeing domestic violence. And we now have the votes for the Crips TSL Player of the Year after round 6. And it's back-to-back best on grounds for Sam Green in Clarence's win over the D's. Northern bomber Jack Ahern jumps up the table following the big win over Glenorchy. And Jamison House was best for Launceston in the narrow victory over Lauderdale. Kingborough's Jack Tompkinson remains on top on 9 and Sam Green is now 2 behind. A dream's come true for Tasmania's Trey Armstrong. He's boosting the Jack Jumpers' local faces, becoming the side's latest development player after turbocharging his career at an American college. In a kit which always seemed like destiny, Trey Armstrong has bounced up NBL's treetop, winning a development player contract.
I always, wanted to play for Tasmania. At some point in my career, I had no real idea if it was going to be this soon.
Armstrong's watched the team explode on the national stage from the other side of the world. He spent the past 4 years embedded in America's college basketball scene, playing for California Baptist University, something he credits with building him as a player and person.
I learned a lot about the game of basketball and about life, and I think, without that experience, I may not, be able to be in this position to have this opportunity.
But a local connection in long-time mentor Mark Radford helped seal the deal back home.
Under 14s was probably the time that he started to grow into this gangly, really uncoordinated young kid. He loves the game and has a great passion for it.
Although Tasmanian signatures are prized for their sentimental stake, Armstrong's deal is no rubber stamp.
Scott is very adamant that nothing will be given away, and Trey's definitely earned his spot here on his basketball credibilities, and it's just a bonus that he is Tasmanian.
The son of Northwest Basketball Union legend Ben Armstrong, Trey isn't lost on the fact a generation of players never had a Tasmanian NBL team to play for.
Being a Tasmanian is just different. I think, there's something special about coming from here, and when you leave, it's always exciting to come back.
And the Jackies hope they'll have him for some time.
And after scores were level with only 30 seconds to go, our UTAS women's side has dropped out of finals contention in the University Basketball League. Victoria University hit the hoop at the death to win 78-75. This was Tasmania's first season in the competition. In local hockey, it was a fight back for the Diamondbacks over the weekend against a university squad putting up a hard fight. The battle ended in a 2-2 tie between the teams, keeping them neck and neck on the leaderboard.
Wherever in the fall we end up is our goal. Like, we don't care if it's 4th or 1st, whatever, but that's our primary goal for the end of the season, is to make finals.
Meanwhile, their women's side will be looking to hold on to winning momentum when they attempt to knock the Northwest Grads off the top of the ladder.
We played State Cup last week and worked really well together, had really good team bonding on the bus, and then we just brought that back into this week, and I think it just worked really well.
All the Premier League hockey action continues across the state on Saturday. The future of the Collingwood Magpies netball side in Tasmania is now unclear, with concerns aired the club is in danger of collapsing. Players were informed of the situation early this morning in a meeting with club CEO Craig Kelly. The state government announced an agreement with the club back in December to see the team play 2 games here each year for the next 3 years. Cam Waters is out to ignite his quest for a breakthrough supercars title at Symmons Plains this weekend. Tasmania is where the Tickford racing driver had his first race at the helm of the new Gen 3 car.
Probably a little bit more racing and hopefully, a few more passes this year compared to the previous generation car.
Waters is the only Gen 3 Mustang race winner this year. He's sitting 7th in the championship, 261 points behind leader Brodie Kostecki.
Good evening. Hobart 12 degrees today, Launceston and Devonport 14 and Burnie 13. Maximum temperatures sat between 1 and 5 below average. Low Head, St Helens and the Islands 14, Strawn and Smithton 13, Bushy Park and Friendly Beaches 12, Lyawini 0 overnight and a top of just 3 today. Low level cloud moved over western and southern Tasmania. Look at that there in that very cold southwesterly airstream. The cold front now off to the east. Another developing frontal band is well south of the Bight. A low has produced cloud off the Queensland coast. Tomorrow, the position of 2 high pressure centres has a ridge extended over Tasmania. A cold front to our west will be with us on Thursday. Tomorrow, the winds will start out from the southwest again, but will tend more westerly over the south and variable over northern waters later. Something to warn you about, the cold. A frost warning for the northwest, central north and Midlands, with temperatures dropping to -3, particularly over the Midlands in the morning. Hobart tomorrow, a top of 13 after 5 overnight. 13 also for Geeveston, a morning frost for Bothwell, a high of 11. Launceston, a pretty cold start, 0 to 13 the temperature range, 13 for Devonport, a morning frost for Cressy, -1 the overnight low there. Burnie partly cloudy and 12, just 12 for Strawn, a few showers and showers increasing over King Island, Curry expecting 13 degrees. 13 also for St Helens, but a bit of sunshine in the east, partly cloudy for Swansea, 14 also for Orford. On Thursday, light showers over the west, increasing in the afternoon, then pushing south later. A few showers into Friday, once again more prevalent over the west and south, and on Saturday showers increasing for a time over the Bass Strait Islands and also the west. 25 and sunny in Perth, partly cloudy for Adelaide and Melbourne tomorrow. Showers on the way for Sydney, a top of 18 degrees. The sun back over Brisbane, 23 tomorrow, and 33 and terrific in Darwin. Partly cloudy in Hobart, 7 degrees. Clear in Launceston, 6 at the moment and 6 also right now in Devonport. Kim, winter's still a couple of weeks away, but we've got some full dress rehearsals over the next couple of days.
Very cold, you are right. Thank you very much, Murph.